Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another episode of MTG Sin Senpai. So this, I believe, will be probably my last draft deck of Dominaria United. I know that the Brothers War set will be coming out very soon. We have the pre-release coming out this particular weekend, and there's also going to be the official release next week. So yeah, I will be definitely doing as many pre-releases as I can because I'm trying to get as much of the product as possible. And here's hoping that we pull some great things during that pre-release. And for everyone else that's planning on going to their locals pre-releases as well, be it a participate at home event or be it at an actual pre-release at the LGS, please do support your LGSs. It has been a tough time for a lot of people, from my understanding. So go out, support your LGSs, do what you can. I know just having people show up and play and participate does put a smile on a lot of their faces, from my understanding. And of course, there's the ones that just are in it for the money. But regardless, give your LGS some love and support. But here's my last picks, or my last Dominaria United draft deck. I'm sure everyone that has been following this channel probably sick and tired of watching me do these particular draft deck breakdowns again. Now, mind you, these are, I think I've gone over pretty much every pick that I've made, or every pick overall. These are the cards I decided not to run. Reason being, I cut a couple of cards because they curved out a little bit too high. This particular Saga is a really good one. Unfortunately, I didn't really have too many cards to really that supported it, or that this would support very well. Don't get me wrong, it's a good card overall, but I chose not to. My blue and my instant and sorcery count was kind of weak, so I chose not to run this 2-mana 1/3. This particular card is not actually the worst. It is actually pretty good for doing some card selection, but overall decided to cut it. And a couple of the other cards I decided to cut just because I had to make cuts. And as good as certain cards are, because don't get me wrong, these three cards, this one probably being the most least lackluster, but Captain's Call is pretty solid. And of course, the Benelish Sleeper is actually a really strong card in the set as well. I mean, who doesn't like a Fleshbag Marauder? I believe it's what it was called, the zombie that does the same effect. But overall, after building my deck, I mean, you can only run so many good cards. So you do got to make cuts eventually in the end. Now, were they the correct call? I'm sure some people can argue that they were not, but they were the call that I decided to make, and I believe it got me second place for this particular draft this time around. I know I didn't get first. I was like, oh no, I got third place if I remember correctly. It was a second or third. I don't remember. It's been a hot minute, but I was pretty happy with the way the deck came out. There was just a lot of value. It's pretty strong, at least the way I built it. I believe it's strong. First off, amazing instant 1-mana instant. I believe this might actually see some play outside of limited, just because it's pretty strong card. I know Dive Down was used for a good while. That only gave you the +0, +4, and hexproof until end of turn. The fact that this gives your creature +1/+1 and untaps it is actually pretty strong, I feel. Take up the shield once again is just an amazing battle trick. The fact that you give your creature a +1/+1 counter, give it indestructibility, and you gain lifelink all on top of it, just an amazing card. Impede Momentum, I know if anyone really pays attention, when it comes to blue spells or blue cards in general, I typically don't play them. Of all the colors of Magic, I'm not the biggest fan of blue. I will be straight up. But I do notice, I know when blue is good, and this particular card I do feel is pretty strong. The stun mechanic is pretty insane, and the fact that it stuns for a card for so long, you can essentially lock down anything for at least, what's that, 5 turns? The first 4 turns for it to be fully untapped, and then the 5th turn is when you can actually use it again? Or no, I'm sorry, that's 4 turns. Anyway, regardless, an amazing card. Destroy Evil is just a great, amazing card as well. Especially when I actually had a blowout against one of my opponents. They had the Phyrexian Horse, the one that they allowed them to pay 1 mana to give it +2/+1 until end of turn. They actually pumped its power to, or its toughness to 4 or greater. I was able to kill it with the Destroy Evil. So it did cause them to sacrifice 2 of their creatures. It was a pretty big blowout for them, and they did not see it coming. So it was pretty. It was a pretty amazing play, I feel. Then the Shoba Brawler, this card is just amazing in any domain deck. Even if you don't go full 5-color domain, just going even 4 colors, getting a 2-mana 4/3 trample, insane. So, very strong card. Knight of Dawn's Light is just an amazing 2-mana 2/2 first striker that you can pump for 2 mana. It's just an insane knight, and so I do enjoy it. And then, of course, the extra life gain by 1, it is actually significant. I did win a game by this 1 life because of this 1 card. So it's an amazing card. I'm sure you guys have noticed a theme here. I did go the 5-color domain again. Now, mind you, I don't think I have a single red card in the entire draft pool. But, of course, I ran the red source just because I had, I believe, the dual land, and just because there was enough creatures or enough domain cards that if I did hit all 5, it was just that was beneficial for me. Phyrexian Missionary, I know, is another card I don't typically have pulled in at least a lot of my pulls, just because it is an uncommon, so it's not the most, obviously, the most common thing that happens because it is uncommon, but it's an amazing 4-mana 2/3 to recur something that at base level it's just a 2-mana 2/3 with lifelink, which is just insane. Of course, comboed with the knight from earlier, so it's an amazing combo there. Basic mana fixer. Anytime, any limited, you need mana fixers. It's just crucial, especially if you're planning on going multiple colors. Now, if you're going maybe monocolor, or if you're monocolor and limited, props to you for doing it. Typically, 2 colors you can kind of get away with not too much fixing, but in this particular set, at least in Dominaria United specifically, just it's so common that you have a kicker cost or something else that is outside of your regular cost that the fixing is important. This particular 1/3 spider, I like it a lot. It's actually, and because flying is such a detrimental evasion effect in a limited period, this particular card has caused a lot of issues for opponents, especially for the ones that forget that it has reach. I've had actually a few opponents that forget that this particular creature has reach, so whenever it blocks, it actually just kills that creature because it becomes a 3/3. 1/3 enlister. I actually really like the enlist mechanic. Initially, I'll admit I was not the biggest fan, but then whenever I realized there were certain cards that really comboed well with it, I was actually, it's a pretty amazing setup. Another spider. In regards to that setup I was talking about, Samite Herbalist, perfect example as to why I like the enlist mechanic. You don't have to attack, it's just whenever this becomes tapped. So tapping this to enlist here causes this to be a 3/3 vigilance creature, and you get a scry and gain a life. Stall for time is actually a really fun battle trick, especially whenever you're able to kick it and get that stun counter. I do really like that effect, and at base level it's a 3-mana tap down your opponent's creatures before they attack for 1 turn and draw a card, so it's actually pretty good. Mana fixing, of course, is crucial, and especially if you're getting this in the late game. I actually don't mind getting this in the late game. It allows me to thin out the deck, make sure I don't draw that land that I fetch with this, and gets you a couple dudes if you pay that kicker. So it's pretty strong. I like it a lot. Another stall for time, an amazing card. Tatiova, just a strong finisher. You never want to get this really early just because a 3-mana 3/3 is solid, but it's not the strongest by itself. It's the fact that whenever you hit that seventh land count and then some, and especially into the later grindier games, those 3/3 haste flying lands are pretty strong. So, and the fact that it turns them into the 3/3 permanently, it's not until end of turn. It's amazing 3-mana 3/3. Excuse me. We got ourselves an automatic librarian. First, I'll admit I was not the biggest fan of the card initially, but as I've done a lot more of the limited for this particular set, this was an amazing performer. It was an all-star 3-mana 3/2 that it's a decent body that allows you to dig too deep, or essentially, yeah, it lets you dig too deep because you could potentially ship both cards away, so it's really strong. 1/1 Death Touch for 3 mana is kind of lackluster, but the fact that it is a mana dork, so in the early game it helps a lot, and then even in the late game that Death Touch does help keep the bigger creatures at bay, especially if they don't have trample, so it's really strong. This is one of those mana sink creatures that I really do enjoy that causes battle mat to be a little tricky, especially when you start your turn off by swinging first, keeping all your mana open, doing that battle trick since you are able to activate it at instant speed. I like this creature a lot, and this was one of those creatures that really gave my opponents a headache because it did give me a lot of advantage, especially whenever I did gain that extra life and draw those extra cards. And it's a 3-mana 3/3, so amazing card overall. It performed very well for me. Johto's Codex, every time I see this card, I do make it a point to grab it just because in Domain, card advantage, or limited period, just, not even just limited, in just Magic, excuse me, in Magic the Gathering, the game itself, having card advantage just helps every type of way. I mean, just having every time you get two, your opponent gets one, just accelerates you so far ahead. It's so amazing. 5 mana, 5/4 beater, just a big creature that's pretty strong. And this particular guy, once again, the enlist mechanic with this guy, just insane. I know I didn't get too many enlist creatures this time around, but this does allow it whenever it attacks. Obviously, it does it as well. And whenever you have that domain, makes him a 5/5 and just keeps on growing the team, especially if they're not 5/5s already. So pretty strong. Plaza of Heroes, always a great pull, I feel like, especially in this set. Just because the sheer number of legendaries that are out in this set, it does help a lot. And that final clause did allow me to essentially win a game just because I was able to keep my, I believe it was my Shauna alive. And it caused my opponent to lose the turn after. And of course we got ourselves all of our our budget dual land package here. Got a nice mixture of everything, so I was able to hit the domain pretty easily. I didn't even have a mountain main board. I believe I had one island main board just in case, but I didn't have a single mountain. This was my only mountain just because I didn't need to hit the domain. It was not absolutely important. Yeah, if I hit it, it was great, but if I didn't, it did not deter my game plan in the end. So in the end, I believe I did get second place, so I do have a few packs here to open. And if you got a glimpse, there is a single promo pack. So yeah, since this is not the foil promo pack, yeah, I got second place. So, but we got those to go through. So here's hoping we pull something amazing in these, because I know as far as I can determine and predict the future, we're not going to be doing too much. That's not the greatest pull, but we got it. Ooh, I'm actually more excited by the uncommon here. This card, amazing. I'm going to be using this in my Joda legendary human deck that I'm planning on building. And just to be a meme, I think I'm going to build Joda legendary humans, and I'm just going to put all of the secret lair humans that I have in it. So I do have a bunch of the I have the Street Fighter secret lair. Will it be synergistic at all? Absolutely not. It's just the fact that a majority of them, I believe, they're all humans, so I'll be able to run all of them in the Joda deck. And then I know there's the Walking Dead characters, and then there's the Stranger Things characters. If I'm correct, they're all human. So as a meme, I think I want to just build a Joda's Secret Lair humans deck. So that's kind of the plan. It's going to be a joke, but we'll see if we get there. Oh, look at that. We got ourselves a foil rare. Threats undetected. Am I a big fan of this card? Absolutely not. It is not that great. I made the terrible misplay of grabbing just 2 creatures instead of 4, and my opponent picked both of those creatures to go back into your deck, because it says an opponent chooses 2 of those cards, shuffle the chosen cards into your library, and put the rest into your hand. So I know it's been out for a while, but do read this card carefully. If you mess up and only pick 2 creatures, or you only have 2 targets that you pick, or 2 targets or less, your opponent is essentially able to just put it all back into your deck, and you just burn the card for nothing. Terrible, terrible card. Shadowrite Priest is okay. Not the biggest fan of the priest mechanic, or cleric mechanic. It's not priest. I mean, I know the cleric deck is technically a thing that you could potentially do, but I'm not the biggest fan. We got ourselves a Vortic Bone Rattle, pretty strong. This one's a nice, powerful 3 mana tutor, or 4 mana tutor that's a 3/3. Spellslinger decks will probably really enjoy that. Definitely a fun little mana ramp that's actually on a permanent. So for your decks that are permanent based, you're able to ramp with this pretty well. It's not the worst, but not the best either. Then we got ourselves some of our uncommons here. But yeah, this will probably be one of my favorite cards from the set, second to Joda's Codex itself. Just so many times that, especially if you can recur this multiple times, just a crazy game-winning card. But this will probably be the last of the Dominaria United product that I have personally opened on the channel. I might get some more in the end, but we'll see. Probably not, to be honest. We got ourselves a Llanowar Lone Speaker. Decent, not the greatest, not the worst. We got ourselves a Baird. I do really like this guy limited. Yotia declares war. It's okay. Slimefoot Survey. It's a fun ramp card, but it's so slow. initially, I'll admit I did really enjoy the card, but just the fact that more often than not, by the time I casted it, it really didn't help me as much as I would have liked. Ooh, one of my favorite green removals. And then overall, it was okay. Now, the Piece de Resistance, we got the promo pack to open. Of course, whoever gets to the code first, congrats to you. Wish you the best of luck in whatever you get from the promo pack, from the promo code. So here we go. There it is. Hopefully I'm holding that the right way. Yep, there we go. So whoever gets that, good luck to you. Hopefully you pull some amazing things from the code. So best of luck. And then let's see what we got. Oh boy. The Equipment and Vehicle Matters legendary. If I remember correctly, there's like 2 vehicles and 3 equipment in this entire set. So not the strongest pull. Oh, looks pretty decent. This was Intruder Alarm, I think what it's called. No, that's the blue enchantment. Raise the Alarm, the creature permanent version of that, and a Wish Claw Talisman. So not the worst that we could pull here, but not the best either. So lackluster overall. It was fun, and thank you again so much for watching. I do have a couple secret layers I'll be opening in another video pretty soon. And then during the weekend, I'll be going to as many pre-release events, like I said, as I could. I plan on going to, there's one LGS that's doing their 6:30 in the evening on Friday. And then they're going to have another one at midnight, so I'm going to go do back-to-backs. And then if I'm able to be conscious, I'll be going to another one on Saturday and hopefully doing 2 again on Saturday. So here's hoping we can get at least 4 in. If not, you know, we'll see what happens. It's been kind of a weird week. And especially with my allergies acting up, I'm sure you all have heard me coughing and all that so far. Sinuses are a little backed up at the moment, so it's been a little rough. But we'll see how many I can get done, how many I can get in, see some old friends I haven't seen in a while. So wish me luck, guys. And for everyone else that's going out to do the pre-release for Brothers War, good luck to you as well. If anyone is lucky enough to get the Urza Planeswalker that melds and get that off during a limited, please let me know. That would be amazing. That's I'll admit, I want to try and get as many in as so that I can try and pull that off. I know it's unrealistic. I know it's probably not going to happen, but I'm going to try it anyway. All right, everyone. Thank you so much again for watching. Please take the time to like, share, subscribe, and leave a comment as well. It is appreciated. And thanks again, everyone. Thank you. Have a good night. And never forget, Senpai didn't notice. Good night.